What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. So I posted my Facebook group, but I wanted to make a video for you guys as well, since a lot of you obviously are in my group. But I made a few changes here, trying to make the whole wall kind of one theme instead of having Chucky split into there. Additionally, I put Nun in a larger shelf, which allows me to visually see her art print, which I really like that art print. It's probably my favorite art print in my whole collection. And I wanted to see it, so I did this, and I think it looks great, actually. One Conjuring garage shelf, and then my Chucky setup having Bride, Chucky 1/2. And then it frees up this setup right here for where Chucky was previously. So I've been trying to determine, here's the reality of the situation. I can't afford to buy statues unless I sell statues right now. I do not have any extra money off paychecks. Commissions are non-existent pretty much in my life now. So if I want to buy, let's say, Blade and Celine, I need to sell basically $4,000 worth of statues. And that's such a huge pain in the butt, because selling statues right now is a huge pain. And so I'm trying to, come up with ways to finish the collection by not spending a lot of money, or just, rearrange statues to make it look good. But I'm also thinking what I need to sell to afford, like Thor bust, Khaleesi bust in the future. So I've sold Vampirella. I can sell Red Sonja eventually, and I'm confident I'll be able to get 2,000 plus ship for her eventually. Technically she could afford Blade. However, I think she's a better statue than Blade. I could get Celine, although real curious how they're going to do Celine. What if they do it similar to Blade, where it's like there's a bunch of lichens she's fighting? That could be really cool. But I'm also not super confident on PCS nailing the likeness in production. I think the prototype will get it, but I think the production will lose likeness, and a lot of people that will get it will probably be disappointed. PCS is great at doing creatures, but human likenesses, generally, they're not the best. So I don't have confidence in PCS nailing that likeness in production. So I'm worried on Celine, to be brutally honest. I love this Red Sonja. I could technically throw Red Sonja and her art print right there. I've done that before. It does look good. Now, when you consider this wall as a whole, it doesn't necessarily need to be part of this line. I was thinking I could technically just get Jigsaw, the Billy puppet, maybe if a tricycle and it fit, or just some Saw props, because I do love the Saw movies. And considering that location, I think it could look good. I also thought what would look really good is the Blue Box Hyper Insidious Red Lipstick Demon bust. Because then it's sort of like, a bust right here, a bust right there, all blue box. That bust is shorter than her, but wider. And I think if you just throw him in the Insidious movie, maybe one prop, like a little, red door or something, poster, it would look great, So there's a few options, and technically none can be in the smaller shelf if I truly needed this for statues. But, again, I'm trying to come up with ways where it looks good and it's not going to be a huge financial hassle. Because ideally, I think we need to sell Red Sonja so we can put that money towards other statues. And eventually, we're probably going to want to sell Alita to put that money towards, like, Thor bust. Now, here's the thing. Thor bust, Khaleesi bust, those are a long time away. Because I got Thor actually through Spec Fiction, and I did a massive deposit, like $1,250, so I'm not going to lose that. So I'm going to get it through him. But he usually gets it way late versus, like, let's say I bought it through Resin GK. I would get it first batch. Spec Fiction usually gets last batch, and knowing Queen, it could be years between batches. So technically, I could get Thor 2 years from now. So I'm not super worried about Thor or Khaleesi or Belle bust right now, because I think they're such a long ways off. What I am worried about is Kong bust 3,500, Morgul Lord Uncharted, and then finishing paying off Kratos and Mimir. I believe, based off all my calculations of everything I've sold, I'm good for all that. I think I'm set. for the rest of the year on all my remaining statues. I can't buy anything new. But if we sell Bruce Lee bust, then we're going to be getting the full Resident Evil 3 diorama. So we'll see on if Bruce Lee ever sells. I still don't think it's going to sell, but if it doesn't, that's fine. I'll just keep it. But let's go over some of these Photoshops as well. So here is the Unkillable bust by Elite Creature Collectibles. I love this bust. I think it's super sick, and it would go great in the collection as well. There is the Blue Box Hyper Red Lipstick Demon bust, which I think this looks very good. It flows great, having two Blue Box busts both on each end and down and up. And considering the angle of his head, it would actually work really good as well. So I do like this quite a bit. Now, that is a $2,000 bust, and so, of course, Red Sonja would have to fund that. When I look at Red Sonja and him, I do think Red Sonja is a superior piece. There is Red Sonja and Vampirella, you know, just what I had for Photoshop, but that's how they would look, which does look good. But I've sold Vampirella, so we could just do Red Sonja and our art print. They don't have to pair together. There is just Blade, you know, because you got Blade there, and then you do Blade underneath. He is 20 inches wide. This is a 36-inch shelf, but you do have the fan blocking about 9 inches. So you ideally don't want two big statues in there. You know, you can have, like, just Blade, for example. And I do think he will turn out great. There is the Billy puppet on the tricycle. I don't think he'll fit on a tricycle. I think he'll be too tall. So I also came up with that option where he's just like sitting down, because he's actually 40-something inches long. So I'd have to have him sitting down, and then I put like some Saw props from the first movie, which would be my focus, because that's like still one of my favorite Saw movies. Just a really good one. So I think this does work, and it also fits the theme of like dolls, horror, a classic horror franchise. Heck, they're still making Saw movies. I just saw a trailer for a new one. So I don't remember how many we have, but I saw we're up to like 8 or 9 Saw movies. I don't know if I've actually seen them all. I do have the collection of all of them, I think up until the newest one, which obviously is coming out in theater, I think, next month. But, you know, this is a cheap option, because that Saw puppet is like $250, you know, plus some props. Let's say $100 worth of props. So we're talking $350, and it would look good. You know, I think it flows great. And here's also if I wanted to do, let's say, Candyman, or you could even do the PCS Pumpkinhead and do Candyman next to Fawn. Or Candyman, you know, underneath Ash. Although, I mean, here's the thing. The original Candyman, I watched it. I don't know. It was okay. Maybe I need to rewatch it. I watched the remake or the sequel. I did enjoy it. It's still not my favorite movie when it comes to horror. I think the statue's good. I don't care for the costume. The likeness is great. I do like the base. You know, and here's just showing that. And this is, you know, if we do it on this wall, you know, like, although ideally these two would need to be displayed here on the bigger shelf, not on that shelf. But, you know, like, this is the HCG Celine, not PCS. I just did that as an example of, you know, they might be creating that in 1/3. Now, for the most part, all my horror collection is just the villains. It's not the good guys. These are technically the good guys. So I've been thinking, even still, even if I get them, I don't know if I even want them on this wall, because I kind of want this all just like freaking villains. You know, if I got, let's say, Celine and Blade, I honestly feel like I'd rather display them over here. You know, because like this is going to be Terminator, and I'll probably change that out to a 48-inch wide so I can fit all 3 1/3. And in a perfect scenario, we would move Khaleesi, sell Alita, and do all 1/3 from right here to there. We would do another 48-inch with, I mean, ideally, Prime 1 Red Sonja, Prime 1 Vampirella, Celine, Blade. All the way up until the Jurassic. That would be perfect for me. And then Khaleesi would go right here with Khaleesi bust, sell Jon Snow, move that there, get Aliens FX Predator bust, sell Fugitive, move those two down low. You know, that is how I think I would want to do Blade and Celine, is under the TV. You know, because ideally I want everything on this wall to Predator, villains. You know, villains, creatures, the, you know, baddies. Here is the Saw puppet right here if you wanted it right here. The Unkillable, which does look great. The Blue Box Bust. Red Sonja Vampirella. Yeah, and that's that. So those are basically all the different Photoshops. You know, and this is kind of the angle from when I'm like working here on my laptop. You know, I have great angles of pretty much everything. You know, it looks all really good. I think this flows really great and it works good. I like the flow of that. This is not to my perfect liking. We definitely need Terminator here. You know, so I think we should sell Alita eventually. It does fit the robot theme, and it is a phenomenal bus. It truly is. But eventually, you know, unless commissions start coming in, we'll have to sell her to fund Thor bust, which is a more crucial piece. You know, and Khaleesi bust. Even Bell bust I could pass on, just because I did feel like the likeness was a little off. But Thor and Khaleesi are the two silicones that are 100% coming to the collection. I never pre-ordered Bell. Last time I saw it, like the Sideshow con, I definitely was like, ugh. But in the promo pics, it does look great. But in the person, you know, I'm definitely going to wait for in-hands and see my financial situation at the time. Granted, this is probably 2 years away, so hopefully times turn around. But I don't know if I'll be getting Bell bust. It really depends on in-hand photos and my financial situation at the time. Khaleesi and Thor, 100% coming to the Flank Cave. And then, of course, Kratos bust, I've already paid for half of it. It's, you know, being made. I've already seen some 3D renders. We're actually going to be doing it's going to have two pose options for Kratos. One is going to be rage mode, you know, when you press L3, R3, go into rage, and he like screams almost Super Saiyan style. So I'll have a swap out fist, and then I'll have a swap out hand holding the Blades of Chaos. So he'll have two options with the blades or just the fists, which will help, you know, both with display options as well. But he'll have that roaring mouth, all silicone, you know, hand punched hair, glass eyes, all that good stuff. So he'll probably be done in 2 months, and Mimir will be done by then. The axe will probably be shipping, you know, a few months after that. So the Kratos setup will be done probably by definitely February, March next year. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to go over with you guys. Let me know what you think on this horse setup. Do you guys like this? Think it should stay? And what should we do right there? The Billy Saw puppet is what my friend and wife thought flowed best. I really like the red lipstick demon. Plus, I do love the Insidious movies. The only thing is about the red lipstick demon, he's a cool looking creature. He reminds me of Darth Maul for sure. But he didn't do a ton in the movies outside of just like a few scares and kidnappings. He didn't do a ton. That's my biggest problem with him. I like a villain that's badass, kills a ton, and is tough. You know, like if you see Nun, she's a badass. She kills a lot. She's super cool, great powers, love her. Same with like Chucky, Annabelle, they're all great. Where the red lipstick demon, he just like scares you a little, he kidnaps you, but I don't even know if he killed anyone in the entire series, I swear. So that's my biggest thing. I want villains who are super badass like that. I feel like all my characters are like that. He doesn't fit that exact bill, but he does fit the bill of still being from a great, you know, horror franchise, and he looks awesome. So he would still fit the collection great, I think. So I'm inkling towards him more than Billy, but it all varies. I'm going to give this quite some thought before I, you know, go down this road. That's why I'm making this video. I wanted to get your guys' 2 cents and any additional suggestions. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.